Well, 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 look who it is again.
It's me, Dougie. It's been so long since I've seen you.
I know. What's up?
What's up? What's up with you, my friend?
Nothing, just another day.
Another day in paradise.
That's right.
How is the weather? It is cold and yucky here, and I really am not happy because it wasn't that warm in Las Vegas. Like, the world just does not want me to be warm.
Yeah, I had a little bit of time when I shivered out there on Fremont Street, and that wasn't just my dancing.
No, that was cold inducing.
My signature dance move to, the tune.
Hey, Tiffany. I think I want to be on the West Coast, man. It's cold.
It's going to warm up here next week, so that's cool. But speaking of the weather, that's not what we're doing today. We are recapping a couple of things. Our favorite seller event, Boss Reseller Remix, just wrapped up for another year.
Yes, it did. And we're also going to announce something else at the end. So stay tuned. We have a little announcement that we're going to give.
That's very exciting. So stay tuned at the end. Keep your tickets. And then we're going to talk a little bit about ASD Marketweek, which was very interesting. My first time. And then we have a little surprise for everybody.
Yes, we do.
But thanks everybody. Yeah, thanks everybody for bringing here. So should we reveal the surprise?
I think you should.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is the fabulous Katie and Vicky Zilberberg, ladies and gentlemen. They're joining us today, taking time out of their busy puppy raising schedule.
Show the puppy. Show the puppy.
How can?
Oh,
this is Gizmo. She looks almost identical to our dog Ripley. And she is actually the mother of this little fluff nugget you see next to me, who's very sleepy right now. But Gizmo was rescued from the streets of Las Vegas. She was pregnant, down on her luck. And then she had...
She was a hoe bag?
Pretty much.
We don't know who the dad is. So
we don't know who the baby daddy is.
She was at
least... It is Vegas.
And she had 4 puppies, and we wanted a puppy, and we wanted a girl puppy. And she only had one girl puppy, and that's who we have right here. But when we went to meet the puppy, we fell in love with the mama because she really is the sweetest thing ever. And so we made the ridiculous choice to adopt 2 new dogs. We already have 2 dogs, so now we have 4 dogs. That's a math lesson for you guys today.
Girl math. Dog math.
Well, that's real. That's real math.
That's real math.
And it's been an adjustment because this one can jump like a gazelle, and so we've had to make some pretty big changes to our house so that she can't escape because she's obsessed with being with us at every moment. So
and I see that Star asked Gizmo, and this is Matilda.
Yeah,
Matilda. The baby is Matilda.
Good. That makes total sense.
Someone asked if Matilda was named after anything. Vicky was like, no, I just like the name. And I'm like, excuse me, one of the greatest books of all time by Roald Dahl is called Matilda. And
I was going to say that.
When we were coming up with the names and Vicky threw out Matilda, I was like, oh, she's never going to know that it's actually named after a character I love because she usually hates any names I come up with. And I was like, yes, Matilda.
So I didn't realize that part of the story. I assumed from the get-go that it was after Matilda.
It's such a great book, and the movie's really good too.
And it's so iconic. I mean, they have that tea in New York City, oh no, that's Eloise. Never mind.
Eloise. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's Eloise.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Eloise is a good name too, though, actually.
I was going to say you could go and you could sit there, but that's Eloise. Completely wrong children's book. Sorry. Yes, Douglas, you're on mute, my friend.
Amateur mistake, I apologize. But ladies and gentlemen, as they like to say in infomercials, but wait, there's more. I do have more surprises for you. Trish, this is your life.
Yeah, great. Wait, who is it? Who is it?
As they say in Las Vegas, let's welcome to the stage Teresa Cox.
Oh, hello. I mean, I'm not sure that they say that just in Las Vegas. That might be an overarching thing they say at all the strip clubs, but I mean,
all right, Teresa, do you have a dog to show?
I had no idea.
Hell to the no. I was a dog mom for 3 months, and it was gut wrenching. So I will never own another dog.
That's what I was gonna say. She was so devastated when that dog died. Like I'd be shocked if you got another dog, Teresa.
It's worth the heartache though.
Yes, but
Vicky literally cries every day since we've gotten these dogs because because this one makes her cry because she just thinks about how
somebody abandoned her, and she's the sweetest thing ever. And I don't know how someone can abandon dogs. I don't understand it.
Well, I don't want to be responsible for dogs, plants, or human beings.
That's fair.
Or
Not to be responsible for nothing. Or Doug's. No one wants to be responsible for that. Well, thank you, the three of you. We really appreciate you guys being here. I know that it was a little last minute. Doug and I were a little off this week. It's probably because Las Vegas tries to kill me every time I go there. But I wanted to thank you guys. I thought I'd love to know what you guys think before we get into it. So how did you guys think this year went?
It was cold.
It was cold, dude.
I mean, it was cold.
It's supposed to hit 76 today, and then this next week is going to be in the upper 80s.
It was the good weather by a week and a half.
Really. And we do a lot of our activities are outside.
Yes.
And people are freezing.
Yes.
So that was the one part that I felt like didn't go so well.
Yep.
It was a bummer because we had weather in the 80s before, and then now again after.
I mean, that's Murphy's Law,
East
right?
Coasters were like, "No, this is great. This is perfect weather." And
well,
we're
I gotta tell you, I don't know. Mary and I both dressed for thinking it would be in the 70s. I mean, at one point, Mary said to me, "I think I need to buy a coat." Like, Mary's my stepmother. For anyone who doesn't know, she came with me. She had never been to Las Vegas, and then we did some sightseeing after. We went to the Hoover Dam and stuff. But she and I both thought, "Oh, good, it's gonna be warm," you know.
Had you been following in the Facebook like you were supposed to?
Sorry.
I did make a post the week before letting people know it was going to be very chilly at night and that they should make sure they pack accordingly.
Well, evidently I failed, and I failed poor Meredith also, not just myself.
You did.
But I agree with you guys. I thought it went great. The weather was a little disappointing, especially because the last boss, we all spent a lot of time outside and we used that like outdoor space, and that was really fun.
And we intended that to happen this year.
Yeah.
Instead, a lot of people just kind of left because they were like, "It's so cold."
Yeah, exactly.
So we're like, "Bye."
Yeah, a lot of people left earlier because they were cold, and it was it is what it is. I think the event itself, I think our content was the best we've ever had overall. I think every year,
thanks to Susie Eads.
Every year we've had, every year there's always a handful of like really good standout presentations. And I think this year everyone was a standout. And I learned so much from so many different people. I loved the variety. I loved how we touched on so many different aspects of things. We all think we know.
I already know 3 sellers that got Walmart accounts, but do I have mine? Hell no.
Even I want a Walmart account, and that wasn't even on my radar, really.
Wasn't on my radar either. And I got to be honest, Doug and I worked in the booth upstairs. I only sat through 2 presentations from start to finish, 3 if I include the one I was in. Susie Eads I sat through because she's an LP person and we want to really support. So I went down and sat and watched. 4. I watched her. I watched Kat. And then the other one I watched was, oh my God, Desiree. Sorry, Desiree Peoples. That was the other one I watched. And, I was really inspired by her, to be quite honest with you. And I think you two were also. She
certainly made us feel inadequate.
Just kidding. I definitely felt like I was being scolded. I was being scolded, and I heard the message received, Desiree.
We did get yelled at for not being on TikTok.
Yeah. And it was more than just that. It was more than just you should be on all the platforms, social media. It was about, I thought, now I'm wondering what you guys thought, but I took away from it like you already have things that you're doing. Why aren't you just, and I got to say, between us, I think that Teresa heard this message because this week she has filmed herself. You've filmed yourself this week.
Well, yes, but it's because I came home with an extra phone.
What?
And I've seen
Long
trending.
story.
It's a long story, but I have a phone now that I can film with, so I'm filming with it.
Well,
Oh.
I've seen the new trending Teresa Talk hashtag over there. It's insane. She does the robot dance.
Yeah, T's all about the trends. But no, I didn't realize about the phone. I thought you took what she
And I
said to
did,
your heart.
I did, Katie and Vicky will make fun of me because I do love a time-lapse video.
Oh,
And
she must have done 10 time-lapse videos this week.
I did one upstairs over the whole floor, and I kind of like it. I mean, even when I went through like till lunch, and even when people are speaking, you see how much adults are wiggle worms. Like there's not an adult in the room that sat still during a conversation. So
Well, I mean, it is a time lapse, so the poor things they could have, if we were just watching them normal, it may have seemed.
No, that's the fun part of it, is time lapsing it.
And so what are you going to do with those, Teresa?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
She's filming for posterity reasons.
She's going to put them on TikTok.
I was going to say she didn't listen to Desiree as close as I had hoped.
Well, I did put the registration one up on Instagram. I tagged Reseller Remix. I think I did it right, Katie. So you can share it if you want.
You did it. Well, the only thing I saw it was in a story, so I would say that's going to disappear. So the impact might not be what you want. I don't know if you put it in other places or if that's the only place you put it.
Oh, I'll put it in my feed then. Yeah, see, making content is not my favorite thing. It's like it's 117 out of 100 that I want to do content, but.
Well, you know what? I've always been somebody who thought I wanted to do content and I like doing content. I'm completely honest. I'm always afraid of what people are going to say to me. And I know that's stupid.
Say to you in what sense? Like what they're going to think of it?
Yeah.
Or you're going to get mean comments and stuff?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well,
I know.
You need to listen to Gary Vee.
I mean, we do. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Katie and I will occasionally get stuff, and
cares?
it bothers me. It doesn't bother her. She doesn't care. We get comments on our videos here and there, but the more you put yourself out there, the less you care about
I don't know if that's true.
that type of stuff.
I think some people they have to stop looking at comments, but I think who cares if they don't? I mean, it's okay for people to not be into you, and if they don't like you, like who cares? You didn't even know them before anyway, so it's like whatever.
Dare they not be
You're never gonna see them,
Katie? It was such a terrible thing.
Well, honestly,
I'm just saying, like, there's people I'm sure that don't like me. It's like, why do I care? They're not in my life. They're not.
Right.
They
No.
don't affect my day to day, and whatever.
I will say, I say this frequently. Trish is the friend that documents our lives with her videos and her camera and all of her photos. For as long as we've been friends, this woman has taken more photos and videos of things that I've been present at than anyone I know. So if I need to remember something, I just need to ask Trish because she will pull up a picture or a video. So you have the content.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it all along.
Totally.
You just don't do anything with it.
Totally.
See, and when Vic gets a comment that she doesn't like, she wants to like. I would say she wants to really give it to him. She wants to get him. And I try to tell her, like, okay, you think that's what you're accomplishing, but all you're doing is telling them, oh, I got under her skin. Look at how she's reacting.
Right.
And like, you're giving them exactly what they want. Whereas I'm like, you just ignore it and you act like you didn't even notice. And it doesn't bother you. And people who are doing it because they're jerks, they're gonna get bored because
I'm not
they
able
didn't
to
get anything.
I'm not able to do
See,
that.
and you're giving them what they want because you're just like,
Yeah, I can easily just disengage. That's my thing. Just disengage.
That's like Teresa's superpower.
I like when they leave a mean comment on our YouTube and I just heard it.
Well, and I have, but after I watched her presentation and I sat on the steps with Brooke, who is Kat's daughter, who's 21 or 22. And she and I were sitting in the back and I was watching it and I took a picture, not a screenshot, like, listen to me. I took a picture of every slide and Brooke turns around at one point and says to me, who of course is 21 or 22, and says to me, don't you think you can just get a copy of those afterwards?
You think?
Thought to myself, yeah, see, that is why I'm an old lady and she's 21 or 22, because it didn't even occur to her that she would have to document that. And I document everything because I feel like, well, I might miss something or, but I got a lot out of that presentation. I wish I had seen more of them, but I really found hers interesting. And another thing I found interesting is she made these great slides,
Using
And-
AI. She's
Yeah,
so
that's
good
what
at
I was
it.
going to say. They were all done with AI, and I Atlas perfectly screw around, for lack of a better word, with using AI to generate stuff sometimes. But hers were so good. They were so engaging. They were fun. Like I
They
really
didn't look like AI. And what I mean is there's certain styles of AI that people use for like memes or they're just creating like a, like a graphic that's using AI. And there's something about certain styles where you immediately know, oh, that's AI.
Yeah.
Hers actually looked like she hired a graphic designer and had this kind of cartoon kind of thing, and all the pictures like clearly
with a character that looked like her.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked like her.
Yeah.
It was like she made herself
A cartoon.
But
it didn't look like the AI cartoon. Like I don't know what she was using, but it was really good.
But she has a jewelry podcast, so if anyone's interested, she was great. I would definitely go follow her. I have never heard any of her jewelry content, so I'm sure, but after watching this, I'm sure it's great. You guys have seen some of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've actually only watched a couple because again, jewelry is not quite my thing, although I'm suddenly selling it. So I probably should be watching her more because I don't know what I'm doing. But in general, I like her content and I loved the presentation. And, we met her at a meetup that happened to be here in Vegas a couple of years ago, I think. And I was just so impressed with her even then. Like just her presence. She had first of all, she's beautiful. Like goes without saying. But she's so very poised and confident and collected in the way that she presents herself in every way that I think she's one of those people who just draws people to her.
Yeah. She was great.
And then she came to the Remix a year and a half ago and she was really shy. And because she's a very shy person. It takes a lot out of her to be outgoing, but I don't sense that until she tells you.
Well, because she was like a news reporter and like a
traffic
reporter and stuff.
Yeah. Now that you say
I
that,
totally get that because I actually am somebody who has like social anxiety, and it's like I have to kind of force myself. But if I'm like to me, it's like I'm performing. It's like and it's different when I'm in front of people or doing it on YouTube and stuff like that. Like a lot of people will meet us for the first time and they're like, "Oh, Katie's really quiet." And it's not that I'm quiet because Trish and Teresa and Doug can tell you I'm not quiet, but I am if I don't know you, I tend to be a little more reserved because I'm kind of observing and figuring out.
I'm just obnoxious all the time.
I was going to say that. I'm just obnoxious all the time. There's no difference between me on here and me in real life.
Same.
But I also learned from Desiree that I think she said on Audible, they're always looking for people to
voice
read books. And I'm like, I want to check that out. I wonder how much you get paid for that. Like,
right. I want to do that.
This is a secret life that I want to have. Like I listen to Audible books all the time and I'm always repeating sentences out loud to see if I could do this as a side hustle.
Did you hear her say that she did an erotic novel?
Oh yeah, she said she did some erotic novels, but under a different name.
I love that.
Teresa, you got to listen to them all and figure out which one she did, and then you can let us know.
Right now I'm listening to Shares.
That's probably a little erotic.
So, I'm very sweary in real life. That's got to be Molly. I'm very sweary in real life. So,
what T? Who was your favorite speaker? Well, not favorite. You don't have to say it like that. But what presentation did you get something out of?
I don't know. I mean, like everybody, there was a lot of things that I wasn't familiar with. I'm not a vintage clothes seller, but I love Sammy's story. I love Susie's, even though I kind of knew, although I will tell you, I knew about the bracelets. I didn't realize that Susie was going to use that as her presentation. So that was fun.
Yeah.
To listen to that. I mean, they were all good. Of course, because I do a lot of wholesale in retail arbitrage, I was interested in the Sarah and Chaz doing Walmart. And Phil's definitely, I talked to Philip afterwards because I'm trying to get a Shopify store up and, I'm 5 months into it and I still can't figure it out. So he's going to help me with that. So, yeah, I mean, for me, there was just different things like everybody that was there.
Oh,
they were
I
all
love
great.
Jeannie's.
Learned something from them all.
Yeah, Jeannie's was great. I felt like not only was it great having all presentations, we didn't do any panels because, when you do a panel, usually you have at least 4 people up there and you really just don't get into any meat of conversation. It's very surface. And so this time we went with all presentations. And so we were able to get deeper into their subjects. But I also felt like not all of our presenters did this, but a lot of our presenters really got personal and shared a lot about their own personal background. And I do think that's important, because I think for a lot of us, I think a lot of people have the whole imposter syndrome, or they don't think that they can get to where they would hope they could be. And if you're listening to people talk who just present themselves as the super successful, super put together person, it kind of
the highlight reel.
It kind of feels like they've just always been that way. And it's hard to relate to that for some people. But if you can see like, oh, this person went through some struggles in their life, they overcame some stuff. For some people, that makes it a lot easier to connect with them. I mean, some people don't care about that. I mean, honestly, there's some people that doesn't really help or anything. But for a lot of people, that's more inspiring, because you're like, oh, maybe, I've been through some stuff. Maybe like this is attainable for me. This is something I could do. Because look where they were just 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And now look where they are.
It makes people relatable. It makes it feel like it's a task that you can do.
Yeah.
Like you can get there.
I've known Jameson for probably 10 years now, and I knew about the drugs, but I don't think I never knew his full story until Boss this year. So that to me, I enjoyed that. Like just realizing how far he has come and where he was. And
yeah, so his was very inspiring, I think.
For sure.
I think everybody was really good. I can't really pick a favorite, but I will say I was able to watch the majority of the speakers this year, which I haven't in previous years, because the three of us are running around doing stuff. Mm-hmm. So we don't always get to actually see the full presentations. And I was able to watch at least half of everyone's, if not all of them. And a lot of them I watched the whole thing. So I'm excited about that. And we do have, for those of you that attended, we are going to have all the presentations up in the Facebook group. So you didn't have to screenshot or take a photo of every single slide like Trish tried to do.
I'm going to text Brooke and tell her she was right and I'm a moron. Doug.
Those will go up there for people that attended. It's not the full video, so you're not going to get their speaking parts. We didn't record this year.
It's just like,
but it'll be whatever their PowerPoint was that they presented to us. So you can at least have that part to take some notes. So
yeah, Janine's information on the travel stuff, it was a lot for me because it felt very much extreme couponing, but the dedication and what it's a time thing, and you put the time in it, you get the money, the rewards out of it. But that was a lot, but I was happy that I had the handout, because later that night I flipped through the handout and I could understand it more.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I learned from hers, I mean, I know that there's different rewards programs. It's basically, she talked a lot about using points and rewards, and like, they have like those sites you can sign up for where when you spend money on different sites, you get money back. And so
wrong site, Doug. That's 2022. Wrong group.
He's trying, Victoria.
I know he is.
Anyway, but so she was talking about using all these different programs, which most of them I'd heard of. It's just the way she does it, where she stacks multiple is pretty impressive. But one of the things that she said that I didn't know anything about is she was talking about, like, when you get points from airline points and stuff like that, points go much further internationally. So she was saying how 35,000 points or 45,000, depending on, 25,000 points to fly from, West Coast to East Coast. And then it was like 35 or 45,000 points to fly like across the world.
Yeah.
And like, points used for housing in the US versus points used for a place internationally. It's just like the points spend much better. And so if you're basically, she said, if you are wanting to travel internationally, save those points for that, because it can get you a lot more and you can travel super cheaply. So that was really cool. Not that it has anything to do with reselling per se, but I never knew that.
Well, leverage your spending. That was what she was talking about. We all spend money for product, for shipping, for everything. Leverage those accounts. And I thought we were doing that by just using our Southwest business card. I use it for everything, so I get all the points. Now, Southwest is changing things and I'm not thrilled with them anymore. However, I've been able to fly for free for 4 years. Katie's flown for free for 4 years everywhere we've gone. And we do travel quite a bit. Now, people talk about Southwest being whatever, the Walmart of the skies. I don't really care if it's free.
But even with that, we use the Southwest card. And even with that, she was like saying a lot of times she'll cancel a card and open a new one because they'll have, because in order to get like Companion Pass, for instance, you have to get a crazy amount of points. You have to spend a lot of money throughout the year to get that. But a lot of times throughout the year, they'll have these specials where really you don't have to spend that much at all in order to get the Companion Pass for the next year, but you just have to open a new card. And she was like, and don't worry about your credit score dropping, because it drops a little bit, but then it goes right back up again. So who cares?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I wish I'd seen it because I saw the booklet afterwards and I was like, what the hell is this thing? So
and there was a lot of Disney talk.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's a big Disney fan.
Man, having a job really messes things up sometimes.
I know.
The photos were amazing. Your photographer friend is magical. They really were great. She did a great job. And I loved the twinkle, like the city.
See, when we first put it up, I remember you saying, we're sitting in the lobby, you were like, what is that thing? I go, wait till you see the pictures.
I literally said, why do you have to do that?
I didn't get one picture in front of the step and repeat or that.
Why?
Every single year we say we're going to do it and we never do.
Well, and the one thing I love is that she went and put our logo on each of those pictures.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But also people can use it for other stuff because some of them they're really nice. You can crop it in a little closer, use it.
That could be your business picture.
Yeah, seriously. There's some really good pictures there.
I haven't done the eBay Open thing to get those nice professional headshots that a lot of people get when they go to eBay Open.
I have one.
I have one and it's horrid.
Yeah. Well, I've never had one. I don't have professional headshots and they make me send a picture and I'm like, here's my selfie. I don't, for certain things, they just did recognition of Women in Business Week or whatever. And I had to send a picture. I'm like, this is all I got. I don't know.
There's a really good picture of Susie Eads and me.
I love, what did you say?
The next one. I said, I wish that Vicky looked at me the way
That's
Susie
what you said.
Not that picture.
It's not this
it's
one.
A few more. Yeah, there's exit out of that. Down.
That
down.
That one. Right next to the eBay guy.
Next, scroll down. To the left.
Left.
To the left. Yeah,
to the left, that one. And she said to me, I wish Vicky looked at me like that. That's what she said.
Ridiculous. Yeah, our photographer is my friend Jennifer, who lives here in Vegas, and she gives us a really good deal for what she does, quite frankly. She spends 3 days, does all the editing, and she loves our event. She tells me every year, she's done it all 4 years. Every year she's like, I just love those people. Everybody's so nice. I learned so much. She's not a reseller. She's never resold a damn thing. I don't even think she's ever bought from eBay. She doesn't care.
I actually feel like a lot of our content, and this isn't just this year, but in the past as well, a lot of times our content is pretty applicable to just business, self-employed business owners in general. So obviously some stuff's going to be very specific to reselling, but a lot of times, even Cha-Ching King, his whole thing was about sourcing, but through relationships. I think that the importance of building relationships matters in life, but also in any business that you're in. And being able to see how that can help elevate your business, because you never know who you're going to run into, what kind of relationship you're going to build, and what that's going to lead to.
Put someone in your house. The calls are coming from within your house.
Susie.
I loved actually Cha-Ching King's speech. I've seen a few of his videos, but again, those of us that know me and Katie, we don't really watch a lot of other YouTubers. But he always came across as so real and funny and friendly and just down to earth. And I can absolutely report he is all of those things in person. He is so funny and kind and sweet and just it's like what did he say? Something slicker than a monkey's butt. He has these Southern colloquialisms.
It was slicker than snot on a bald monkey's head.
I'm
pretty sure, which I'm I don't know that I've ever experienced that.
He's just got these little Southern colloquialisms. I can't even say that word right. But he's funny. It's like talking to your grandpa. He's got dad jokes for days. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if he would love that.
I don't know. I mean, dad jokes are pretty funny. He's very kind, and his session was really nice. It was funny and fun.
So, for me, the best part of it all is just always hanging out with our people. We are very lucky. We have a great, I don't know if this is true across all resellers, because as Vicky and I discussed the other night, we think everyone's kind of in big silos, right? And if you hang out with these people, you kind of know the same YouTubers they do, you know the same influencers, and then you get into another silo and you're like, who the hell
Who are these people? I've never seen them before in my life. They have 200,000 YouTube subs. I've never.
That's always my favorite, is when I just happen to like come across a YouTuber that I've never seen before in reselling, and they have 200,000 subs, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening?
It's because there's so many of us out
there's
here.
A lot.
It's ridiculous, but
I don't know if we can say us with our 11,000 subs,
with our tens of tens.
There's so many of us.
So many.
It's so hard to be such a content creator that's so successful at this.
You're so put upon, Victoria. You need the fainting couch. But it was great, and I had a really great time. I just want to touch on ASD really quickly. So there were a lot of people from List Perfectly there. So thank you guys so much. It was great. We had a really good showing from Mastermind specifically, and I really appreciate you all coming. We all met up and most of us went to ASD. And some people went to ASD on their own. Some people met with us and went on to see ASD either 1 or 2 days. And it was really great. I think if you've never been to ASD, which is a trade show, it's definitely worth attending at least once, and see if it's something that you might be interested in. There's everything from brand new merchandise. It's all brand new, but brand new, like things that you can order. I want 4,000 of those. I want 10 of those. 2 things like job, things that are buyouts, closeouts. I would say job lots, but I guess that's probably a regional colloquialism, as Victoria just said. So
nobody but us knows what a job lot is.
How many chopsticks did you buy this time?
You're on mute.
You're mute.
I didn't buy. I went for a very specific purpose, and I went looking for somebody that could produce an item for me, and I struck out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, but I went on Sunday. I could have gone back on Monday, but I didn't. So I don't know. We'll see if I still am interested in this in August. I think they do it in August.
Yeah, it's twice a year. I think it's
August.
like
the first week in August, and if I can make it, I might go back and just for a couple of days, and I don't know, think of something else.
Oh, Susie said she's already received a bunch of her orders.
Yeah,
she went crazy.
I don't know who Flippin' Ain't Easy is.
Yes,
yeah, you do.
Do I?
Yeah, that's John and Jenna.
Yeah,
oh,
I was like, as soon as she said it,
you're in Vegas.
I know John.
I know
John and Jenna. I just didn't know their channel. I've never watched it.
So that's
they're part of our meetup group. So they actually came out to go, but they couldn't attend the conference. So they actually came out and hung out at our meet and greet, and then they came out and hung out with a group of us on Fremont Street on Wednesday night. The free parts of the conference.
Susie thought ASD was not as robust as it was last year. That was my thought too, but I didn't know. I didn't buy either time, so what the hell did I know? That's part of the mastermind group. That's some of us that went to ASD together. It was really fun. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you all coming out. It was great.
But ASD, asking what your mastermind is, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I run a mastermind. Oh, who was it?
Gina.
Oh, I couldn't see it. Gina, thank you for asking. I run a mastermind Monday through Friday on Listing Party. And if you belong to List Perfectly, I would love you to come and join us. Just go to listingparty.com with the same credentials that you log into List Perfectly. So when this all happened, I don't know how many of you guys already know this. You probably do. I can't see the chat today for some reason. I'm having technical difficulties. Most of you guys know that my friend Diane Lasan died day after, January 1st. And so her family got to come, which was really great. They came. She had started a foundation that helps the Blind Center, which is where Boss has always been held. And so she started a foundation. She was really touched by what the Blind Center does and who they help. And even though it's halfway across the country, or longer actually,
all the way across the country.
All the way across the country from where she lived. She was really touched by it and started a foundation. And so she started this, and last year they gave out some scholarships. Last time at Boss, they gave out some scholarships. This past year, Vicki and Katie attended a employee Christmas party from the Boss, and they gave out the with the help of Ryan, gave out the scholarships for last year. And then this year, Jen and Jeff and Rick, who is Diane's husband, son and daughter, they came and they gave out the 2 scholarships to the two people from the Blind Center, who the Blind Center picked and said they deserved it and why. And they gave a little presentation about both. And they each got a $5,000 scholarship for the year to help with anything that they need help with. So rent, phone, food, whatever. They also gave out $1,000 to a reseller. Sandra won, and she was lovely enough to donate it right back, which was very sweet of her. And unnecessary, but I think she was in a place where she could do it, and it was.
Her and her husband are retired. She resells for fun. It's like her hobby, and so I think she didn't really. I don't think it made a big difference for her, and so she wanted to go back in.
And Sandy is a member of our local seller here, member of my meetup, and friends with a good friend with everybody. She is honestly just a very, very sweet person. She's very involved in the seller community. She comes to a lot of these events really just to socialize and to network and to be around her reseller friends, because her husband does not get what she does at all and just calls it her pile of junk. But she really enjoys being around other resellers. And I think she didn't necessarily need the money enough that it was going to make a financial difference, but she really loved Diane and what Fearless Living Fund stood for, and she wants to help keep it going on, paying it forward.
I got a little bit clumped. Sorry.
So Tommy, they pick the recipients. The Blind Center actually does that. I think Ryan's super involved in it, and they determine it based on. There's a list of criteria that Diane had. But
kind of like their list.
They want people who are like involved in the community there, that help, that are self-starters, that, just people that they feel like need the help, but also have done the work to get themselves to a place where, they've kind of earned a little extra, help.
Yeah. And as far as the reseller one, that one was based totally random. That was based on attendees of our event, and it was just raffle.
Yeah. The gentleman who won, he was working at the Blind Center, and I think he's in maintenance, and he was emptying trash barrels, and he was there for 3 days. And all of a sudden, Melinda goes up to him and says, "Come on, you got to come with me." And I hear him say to her, "Okay, whatever you need me to do." He thinks like he's gonna go work. Like they didn't even
tell him like he's coming up on stage to talk in
front of him. He goes up there, and the poor guy all of a sudden is like,
I got a thing. What's happening?
It was very sweet and very endearing, and I very endearing. But the reason I started this story was not to get all worked up, so I apologize that I got a little emotional there for a second.
Stop crying, geez.
I know, seriously. But what happened is Rick had asked me, her husband had asked me a while ago about, Diane has about 4,000 or so listed items in her catalog. And he wanted them to go somewhere. And he said to me, first of all, he said to me, "Do you want to buy them?" I did not. I love Di. I was not in an emotional place that I'd be able to do this. If I'm going to be completely honest, it just would have been too hard on me emotionally. And I got 11,000 in my house. We don't need any more right now. So
I got 11,000. We good.
So I said to him that I would try to help him figure out a way to get rid of it. You
were like, "How about we could do like a estate sale or like a yard sale or something?" And he was like, "Well, can't we just find one person to take everything?"
That's exactly what he
I think
wanted.
it was just too much for him to even wrap his head around. He just wanted it to go in
He
one
just
go.
wanted it gone.
Just
so
get it
then
out.
He wanted the listed items gone, so then he could figure out what to do with like the unlisted stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I am sure there's going to be an estate sale or a yard sale down the line at some point. I just think he's not anywhere near that at the moment.
Yeah.
So what happened? So then I said, all right, give me a few days to think about this. Let me think what I can, wrap my head around this. Maybe. And I said to him, there's value in that there's already a listing made, right? Like these are listed items. They already have a listing. They already have photographs. Like
they have measurements. It's a complete listing.
Right. It's a complete listing. And they're already in List Perfectly. So, I have never bought from another reseller that was already in LP. So, I really started to think about this. And so I called Victoria Egan and I said, hey, I have an idea. I think you should buy Diane's inventory. And she says to me, I live in Las Vegas. And I was like, yeah. That's semantics. Like, let's worry about that later.
Because I have purchased, unlike you, I have purchased bulk
like
inventory
3 times
from other sellers and use List Perfectly to do that.
And it doesn't even have to be on List Perfectly. If it's already listed on pretty much any platform that List Perfectly works with.
Exactly.
And the person selling the items is willing to give you their logon information. That's the important one too.
If they're not already
on List Perfectly.
Yeah. So
thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy. It's Zilverberg.
What did I say?
Egan.
Oh, Egan. Sorry. I always say it just to be obnoxious.
Don't look at her ID.
I've never legally
out there, Tommy. Yeah, and Danny, the niche lady, details. Exactly. I was like, details. It's Las Vegas. What the hell? And in my head, I really thought it won't be that hard to get it out there. Like, we'll just ship it up. I'll get a Gaylord and we'll ship it out. Like, literally, this is what's in my head. I know.
Yeah, no.
I know. So she's interested. So we kind of talk about it. And then a little while later, she calls me back and says, I'll rent a truck and we'll drive. And I say, who's going to drive?
Let's be real here.
Let's be real here, people. And she says, we will. And I said, what about Katie? And she said, Katie will stay home and take care of the dogs. And I'm thinking, that means I'm going to drive a truck all the way across freaking America. Listen. That's what I thought. We will end up seeing how true it is. So I went back to Rick and Vicky made a deal. And so we are now going to, and we have decided as a group, meaning List Perfectly and Vicky and Katie, or as we should say, Katie and Vicky, have decided that Katie and Vicky, whatever. We are going to document this and you're all going to come along with us. See, Shelly Ball got it right away.
Listen, Shelly.
So Trish called me before, like a couple hours ago and was like, hey, can you help me with this? Like she made this. She just wanted some feedback. And originally she had Vicky in the driver's seat. I'm like, okay, let's be real here. I do believe that you are going to manage to get Vicky to log some miles. I do believe that. But the reality is you will be driving more than she is.
Listen,
sure.
I can drive. I will drive just fine. Just do not make me park the thing is all I keep saying. Don't make me park it. Do not make me drive it through small parking lots. That would not turn out well for anyone.
And she also
pulling into the hotel. I'm pulling over on the side of the road so you can get in the pet driver's seat.
Honestly, I think once she's actually driven it a little bit, she's going to feel much better. Years ago, I went on a cross-country biking trip, like cycling trip with my dad, some other people. And somehow he convinced my aunt to be our support driver. And so she had to drive my dad's big pickup truck pulling a giant trailer. And she was terrified because we were going up and down, like through mountains and stuff. And you know what? She did it. And
listen, we better not do any switchbacks. If we're doing switchbacks, that'll be a problem. Then Trish is definitely.
You're not going to be doing switchbacks. But honestly, you're going to be in like a 16-foot truck. That's what we use to move stuff to the blind center for the remix. Once you get
that made me feel better yesterday because Teresa said to me yesterday, I'm not driving anything over. What did you say, T?
Yeah, 20 feet. But I think we rented a 16, but didn't they give us a 20?
No, we rented a 12 and they gave us a 16.
Okay.
Yeah, and 16, honestly, it's pretty manageable. It's not, once you're in it, you get used to the feel, you're going to be okay.
Oh, listen, Angela says, make sure the card renting it carries the extra insurance. Rude. And well, it will, because I'm paying for this. So obviously this is I'm lucky enough that I have a friend that is going to do this trip with me. So yes, we'll be driving it, making sure we're both listed on the rental. And also my credit card, my Southwest Points credit card, does carry the extra insurance as well for rentals. So you're
Just
right.
don't try to go through the drive-thrus.
Don't worry, we are not going to do that.
And the hard part is changing lanes, because you don't. That's why I won't do over 20 feet. Like 26, it scares me to change lanes, and I am not scared of stuff.
We're doing 16 feet, so let's hope I can actually see the change.
You got
lanes.
mirrors, you can see.
Or I'm just driving the middle lane the entire time on the freeway at 55 miles an hour.
It's
anyway,
okay. People move for you. They don't want to get hit either.
So Liz asked if we're going to do a document. Yes, we are. So that's the other thing. We're going to put this on their channel. It's going to be on our channel. We got some social things happening. TikTok. We started a TikTok just for them. So we are going to be on all of the places. So please be on the lookout. We're going to put it in. We will make sure everybody knows where to find it, because it's going to be fun. And we are going to start first week in May. We're leaving first week of May. So
we're going to document the packing the truck. We may do a time-lapse video, which Teresa will love.
Exactly.
We are going to be driving.
Time-lapses are the best.
We are going to be driving. This is a 2-week trip. Because not only are we driving across the country with the truck, of course, it's going to
we forgot
it. We're going to stop. We're going to have stops along the way, because Trish has a goal to visit all 50 states.
Not on this trip.
Not on this trip. No, Jesus. Listen, to visit all 50 states by the time she's 55. So she only has a handful left on her list, and we're going to hit the ones that we're able to hit that fit her list, because I really don't care what route we take, honestly. So we are going to hit, we're going to try to do meetups at about anywhere from 4 to 6 locations along the way. Trish is mapping it out. If it fits along the route and you're able to drive and come meet us, we'll get dinner, we'll hang out. This isn't going to be content. It's just going to be, hey, come out and meet us and hang out and have
content.
Everything's content. Did you learn nothing from Desiree?
I mean, we're not teaching at the.
Okay, I was going to say Desiree taught us that everything is content.
I would say that please come with questions, because if we're there, we'll answer anything you guys are interested in.
I mean, there's no way that we're not.
Right.
Oh, we love Sonora dogs. Let me tell you.
I seriously, when we went to Tucson and I had those for the first time, I had to find a place in Vegas that sells them, because I'm obsessed with them. But here's the thing too. It's a Tucson thing. Consider it like a Tucson Mexican hot dog. It's like, there are some places are made differently, but a lot of times they're wrapped in bacon. They go in a hot dog bun. They usually have like beans on them and like stuff you would put on like a taco. My favorite one here in Vegas, it's wrapped in bacon. Then it's wrapped in a handmade flour tortilla. Then it's got beans and sour cream and cheese and deliciousness on top of it.
Definitely not going through Wisconsin. That's one state that's not. That's you can't go across the country and go through Wisconsin without. Yeah.
And if you watch our channel, you know that Vicky hates Wisconsin.
Carla, you hate Carla? I'm telling her.
I've never even been to Wisconsin. How can I hate it?
You said some real negative things about Wisconsin a couple weeks ago.
I think I pretty much just said it was cold.
But real quick, listen to this. After the trip is over, well, first of all, I'm going to be at home with no pants on for 3 weeks, living it up with the dogs, hopefully not having to talk to anybody. It's going to be awesome. But you want to try and follow this, Victoria. So turn your hearing aid down. You want to follow them on through all the content, all the stuff, because there are going to be some prizes at the end.
Yep.
We're going to do some giveaways, and I think we're probably going to come up with a couple of good ones, hopefully.
I agree. And we're going to do some fun stuff along the way that I'm sure.
And one of the ways that we're going to pick the winner is going to be based on who knows their trivia, their reseller road trip trivia, because some crazy stuff's going to happen. Hopefully nothing bad, but we're going to draw from actual things that happen on the trip to ask these questions. So whoever knows the most.
So one thing we're going to do is, first of all, this trip is going to be sponsored by List Perfectly. So we are going to be doing meetups and things with some of the List Perfectly members. And whether you're a member or not, you could just be, fans of me and Trish and want to come and meet us. You don't have to be a List Perfectly member. And we're going to be talking about all different kinds of things. We're going to be doing all different types of content. You're going to see how I take the inventory at the end. You're going to see how I take the inventory from the listed listings that Diane had previously created and bring them into my List Perfectly catalog and how I'm going to make that work. So we're going to show you step by step by step, everything that's going to happen from packing up the truck to unloading the truck to every step along the way and all the fun things we're going to do. Because how can you take a 10, 14-day road trip and not have fun too? Obviously,
we also have to figure out where it's going to go once it gets to our house, because our garages are already filled.
This is essentially doubling my inventory. I have 5,000 items now and adding at least 4,000 new items, if not more, because I don't know how much of the unlisted stuff that Rick is going to throw at me to get out of the house at the same time. And knowing him, it could be a good portion of it that he doesn't want to deal with. So we'll see. But not only is this going to be obviously great that I'm getting inventory that I don't need to source for the rest of this year, probably, but also a portion of every sale is going to be going to the Fearless Living Fund. Yeah. I'm going to be setting them up through through eBay for Charity.
They're already set up.
Yeah, they're already set up.
I'm going to be setting up the listings.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Using eBay for Charity so that a percentage of the listing sale is automatically going to go to the Fearless Living Fund. I don't have to worry about trying to do accounting or using consignment software or sending out a check every month or anything like that, which I already do for consignment clients. And this is just going to be so much easier for everybody involved. The money's just going to go right there. So,
Doug, I'm going to ban you from chatting if you can't behave.
I think the meetup should totally be at various truck stops along the way.
I mean, we could intterview lot lizards. Just think about it.
They have showers and gas station hot dogs. What more do you need?
Yeah, I need a regular bed in a regular hotel along every night. I'm sorry to put it out there.
And we both need our noise machines.
Now who's the princess?
Me. I need a noise machine. I need to be tucked in a certain way. I am.
Oh, Vicky has to tuck you in?
Well, actually, here's the thing, Tommy. I will be joining Trish for Mastermind every day on this trip. So there will not be any missed Mastermind calls.
Yep.
And I'm an early riser. I don't know. You guys just say I don't get on camera at 6 a.m. for Mastermind. However, I'm up between 6 and 7 every day. I don't use an alarm.
It's not going to be 6 a.m. till I get
It'll start out at 9.
As you go.
So we'll be fine.
They'll start every day with Mastermind before they get on the road.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. It does seem to be an overreaching topic.
Is it really? You've talked about lot lizards before?
Our favorite Urethra Franklin is here.
Urethra, her name, it never fails to make me laugh. Never fails.
Yeah. So anybody who would love us to come with the big truck and stop at your meetup, let me know. Trish at listperfectly.com. Please drop me an email.
We'll see if we can fit it into the schedule. I mean, obviously we can't go 7 states out of the way, but if it's in we have some in mind already, but if it's in the line of the trip and we can make it happen, we want to make it happen. So,
and if you have t-shirts you want to sell them, you can throw them right in the truck. Right, Susie?
Susie.
Or you can just donate the stuff you don't want to the back of the truck until the truck is full.
She's like a dog with a bone about these t-shirts. One of our stops is going to be near Kansas City, specifically because Katie needs to get t-shirts from Susie Eads.
Well, because it's Susie. I have t-shirts. And then she's like, I don't know if they're good enough. I don't know. And I'm like, they're graphic tees. I don't care if they're not vintage. Like, I'm going to pay you for them. I don't know. So I have to make sure it really happens. So the only way I know how is harassment.
Oh, yeah. And Tiffany, we will definitely have a recap when we get back here, because once we get back here, Trish is staying for a week.
At least.
And we will be figuring out how to integrate the items into not just into my inventory, but into my home, into our home.
Yeah. And so that's going to be another thing we'll do. So we'll document that. And I'm hoping that by the time we get it there, it may be a much easier process. And I don't want to say too much because I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But
right.
Teresa may be able, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Clara already gave me.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. So List Perfectly, I've tested it. It works. List Perfectly is going to, for anybody that's using List Perfectly right now, this doesn't matter, except unless you get a buyout like what Vicky has. But where we used to have to go in and click 200 listings and import it that way, List Perfectly is going to have a 1-button import. And they don't have it all built yet, but it's built for eBay and Poshmark, I think. And so the goal is...
I'm very excited by this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be life-changing. I mean, I had, I don't know how many listings, 6,500 listings in my catalog, and I tried to time it and I lost count. I think it did it in 4 hours, but I just walked away. So you can do it one night. So it can import all of Diane's stuff into Vicky's catalog, and then Vicky can edit, change price, whatever, locate them, and then cross-post them up.
Right.
That's
Because
awesome.
let's be real. I'm not going to overload my stores and import everything immediately. I'm going to be piecing out 25 to 30 items a day, making them live, making changes if I need to. So I'll be also using List Perfectly to optimize some of the listings.
Yes, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because we don't really talk about that very much. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity to show how great that is, especially if you're going to cross-list them to Etsy. Because there's keyword, I really am interested in this. And I know, look, some of this is about getting it so other people can see it all, right? Like it's not just about getting it done. And so I'm really looking forward to that for myself also, because
Me too.
I don't use it as well as I should.
I don't use it for that. Like I haven't gone in and optimized any of my older listings. I do it manually to a degree, you know, when you're doing ending and sell similar. That's the other thing too. You know, everyone runs their business a certain way. So these listings were all live. They've been taken down. Her store's been closed for about 6 months now. And maybe a little bit less than that. But Diane was very much a list it and forget it person. She didn't go in and massage the listings. She didn't go and end stale listings and reprice or anything like that. She didn't run aggressive sales. Now, because of the way that I'm getting so much inventory, I'm not looking to start a second store or have 9 million things and keep them forever. My plan is to import these listings and get them listed and aggressively sell, aggressively recoup my money and get these things out of the house. You know, let's process them and get them done. So
let me tell you a couple of things, because I know it's going to come out soon, but for those in the List Perfectly community, we know we've been waiting for the delist relist feature. I've been testing it for a while, and I am not a delist relist person, but I am delisting items that are 4 years old, which oddly, I sold something that was 4 years, 2 months or something like that, 12 days, the week after I got back from Boss. But anyway, so I've been testing this, and I started with all my men's shirts, and I had about 200 men's shirts that are 4 years old. I have been listing them out 3 at a time. I've been scheduling them. I've already sold 2 of these t-shirts. I ran it through, I edited it, and I ran it through List Perfectly's AI, and then that created the tags and all that sort of stuff. I adjusted my prices. I mean, I really adjusted my prices, changed some things around, and I mean, I have more that are unlisted, that are relisted, but I already sold 2 of those. And I did the same thing for the fabric, all of my fabric. And I've sold 4 pieces of fabric in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I have no idea the last time I sold a piece of fabric. So I'm a real believer in using this AI to revamp your listings. I am definitely changing some pictures around. I'm not retaking photos, but I'm definitely changing some pictures around. And my titles, I'm not adjusting a whole lot, but I am the listing in that. So far for what I've been using to test with, I'm loving it. And so I think that something like this for Diane's, by the time you get it back, we should have that 1-button import, and delist, relist will definitely be ready for that. And it's just a much easier, it's a 1-step process where you click your listings, click the platforms, delist, it ends it, and then it brings up the windows to repost them, I guess, to cross-post them. And so you still have to manually do that so that you can review all your listing. But I think that you'll find that process to be very efficient.
Yeah, I probably won't use the delist and relist just because that's not how I handle my listings. But
these won't be listed for you.
Yeah,
but you can revamp your listings like some of the stuff that she has. Absolutely.
I won't do it with existing listings, but going forward, like I've already been using the AI since right after it came out. I know I don't talk about it a lot, but I did talk about it at the remix, and I surprised Clara and Amanda because they're like, "What? You use that?" What? I do. I've been using it from the beginning. If I list something, I create it in List Perfectly, and I use the AI and I use the Express Lister. And I know we use the word game changer and all that so many times that it is the wording doesn't make any sense anymore. It's like you say the same word 10 times and it doesn't lose its meaning. However, that really has changed how I do my listing, how fast my listings are done. I also, I got 300-400 swimsuits recently, and I can list 20 of them in an hour now, or, and that's including taking the photos because they're swimsuits. So it's like 3 pictures. You're not measuring, right? 3 pictures, and I throw it in AI, and 90% of the time it's got 90% of the information correct. So I've got to go in and just tweak a couple of things and it's done. I
say that the listing assistant, Express Lister listing assistant in 2025 is what cross posting was in 2019. Like it is.
Yeah.
We thought it was like that. Cross posting in 2019 was absolutely a game changer for the reseller community. This 6 years later is absolutely a game changer for the reseller community.
I agree. And while it's not, and while it may not be 100%, and some people can't fathom something not working 100%, 90% is way better than 0%.
But even 90%, at 90%, it's doing 90% of the work for you.
Correct.
I mean,
correct. You're going and changing so few things. Now, always double check your measurements. It's pretty iffy on measurements.
It's pretty iffy on numbers. So So anytime it throws out a number, I tell people review and revise, because the number thing in AI isn't great, but it will give me the length of a t-shirt at 29 inches and it's 28.5. I can make that change. It'll give me a chest at 27 and I got to change it to 29.
Like, I don't even use it for that. I write down the measurements on a whiteboard, take the photo, and then it does that perfectly. And I just
use the whiteboard. Yeah, if you use whiteboard, it absolutely works, but I don't do that. So
I don't use a whiteboard either.
I'm revising old listings that don't have that in it, and I'm not taking a picture and measuring.
But even the hard goods, again, 90% of the time it's going to get the measurements correct on hard goods. For whatever reason, the AI is smart, and the more you use it, the smarter it gets.
Totally.
Which, that's why they're going to rise up and murder us in 10 years.
Oh my God, Cheryl Hinton.
Robots are going to kill us.
Cheryl is convinced that the robots are going to get us. Okay.
I would like to address the heated debate that's happening in the chat.
Me too.
Zhuzh It Up has been around for a long time. It is not a new
definitely not Canadian.
It is not Canadian. Zhuzh It Up is a very commonly.
In fact, I think it might have originated or gotten popular around the first episode of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
No, it's way older than that.
They were talking about sleeves and how you zhuzh up your sleeves.
That's way older than that.
Well,
isn't it Yiddish?
Whatever.
I think it's Yiddish, and I think it's probably old.
Yeah,
not Queer Eye for the Straight Eye. And
there's no kids going around talking about zhuzhing things up. It's definitely
zhuzhing it up. Also tell the robot please and thank you. Oh my God, I do that every day on ChatGPT. When I write something, I'm like, can you please? Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that?
Listen, Star, I read an awful lot too. I don't know how you've never heard the word zhuzh, but probably because typed out, it's stupid. When you say it, it makes sense.
Hey, zhuzh it up.
I can't remember ever reading the word, to be honest with you.
Samantha, I'm only 35. Can we kick her out? Are we allowed to kick her out?
I'm only 25.
You're out too, buddy.
Who said it was from Queer Eye?
Me.
Yeah, it is from Queer Eye.
Well, that might be what made it popular. It was around before.
That's what I'm saying. That's what made it popular.
Oh, that might have been, but it was around before that, definitely. So thank you both, all three of you, for coming. I really appreciate it. It was fun recapping. It was fun. Yes.
You didn't thank the dogs.
Grizz.
That's not Grizz.
Gizmo.
See, I just want to be the advocate for Grizz because I feel like Grizz is being replaced. And
no,
and look, And look,
Listen, Grizz is 875 years old.
Do not say horrible things about Grizz.
Grizz used to be the one that's in Katie's lap all the time. And look, I'm sure she feels replaced.
No.
See, Eureka is exactly correct. Carson Kressley said it zhuzh all the time. That is exactly where I heard it.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're Trish and I are going to have a blast. It's going to be a lot of work. There's no question it's going to be a lot of work. However, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to take you guys along for the fun. And we are going to do exactly what Desiree said that we need to be doing. And we are going to work on branding and getting more content out on all the socials. So
and
for
the
those
TikTok.
of you and the TikTok, like the old people, we're going to be on the TikTok. And
Correct.
just like people have said for years, Katie and I have gotten very lazy with our content. We know that. We've only do our one Sunday show, and half the time we're away and we're not doing that.
But Desiree shamed us.
Desiree made me feel a lot of shame. So we will be doing a lot more content, and it's going to be cross-pollinated. At least this part is going to be cross-pollinated with List Perfectly. So those of you can follow along with both of us. We're going to be sharing content on this whole trip. And then hopefully that'll light the fire under Katie and my butt to continue our content past this and keep doing a lot more. It's, something we've always said, we're not content creators, but we really enjoy doing things. It's just, we don't like the editing part. So we're going to work on that.
You have to do it to know if you don't like it.
But I have a really big favor to ask everybody.
I got that one, Katie.
I need a big favor from everybody to please go and follow the Katie Vicky TikTok.
Oh yeah, we need to get to a certain number so that we can go live on TikTok.
Yeah. You have to have 1,000 followers.
And also, if you can follow LV Pink Peacock on Instagram, we're going to be changing the name to Katie and Vicky just because I had the highest number of followers.
We've never had we've never had an Instagram or a TikTok or anything.
Or even like a Facebook page, nothing with just us. We just had our channel.
And we had our separate Instagram. So we're putting that together.
It's at Katie and Vicky because I couldn't use a channel thingy. And Katie Vicky was taken by somebody, some kind of Katy Perry thing. So please go follow so that we can go live on that. I
just want to say, because, Trish is one of those friends that if you have a problem, obviously Rick knew to call her. If you have a problem, she's the one you call and she will hopefully fix it for you so you don't have to do it. And so since they're doing this road trip together, and I've never used TikTok, Trish is the, and obviously
Trish started the
obviously Vicky wasn't going to be able to figure out how to start it up and do it.
Listen, I am very slow when it comes to tech. I'm just saying. Technology and I are not friends.
But I did tell Vicky she definitely is going to have to drive now because Trish is going to have to be uploading all the stuff to all the different places.
Right.
I downloaded TikTok. I don't know, the week I got back from, when I got back from, but for something else. I didn't know you guys were doing all of this. But there's a woman, an older woman, that gives a lesson a day on how to do stuff on TikTok, and I followed her.
I probably need to follow the old lady to teach me how to use the TikTok.
Well,
exactly.
And this came up organically with Clara on. I thought you were there, Teresa, at Boss.
No, it was me, you, and Clara sitting at the table.
Okay, I thought T was there too for some reason, and we were talking about her buying Diane's thing, and she said, "Well, what do you mean? What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to take a week off and help her drive it back." And she goes, "Well, everyone will want to see that." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
What does Desiree say?
Everything is content.
Right. So here we go, baby. We're doing it.
We're starting it. We're going. We'll be two middle-aged.
Hopefully you don't Thelma and Louise it.
Middle-aged-ish ladies doing a Thelma and Louise trip without the driving off the cliff. Or
take a wide berth around the Grand Canyon, please.
We're probably not going to murder anyone in a bar parking lot either, but you never know. I mean,
Tommy, she's changing LV Pink Peacock because we talked about that it should all match their YouTube channel. One of the things that I got from Desiree was consistency. So that's why it's Katie and Vicky, baby.
And I don't use my LV Pink Peacock for anything. I very rarely posted on it. I was just reseller content anyway.
But she has more followers than I do.
But I have almost 5,000 followers, and I think you have to get over a certain number as well.
Well, there's just no point in starting over if you can just change your name.
So everybody, it's right, Laura. It's a ba. I saw a thing last night on TikTok, and this guy said, when your accent slips out, and he was like, so where do you want to go, blah, blah, blah. And he said something, and he goes, oh, I know where to park. And he goes, park? And I thought, that's my whole life.
I apologize for any background noise you might be hearing, but we apparently have someone that is, there's a wood chipper. There's a wood chipper right outside our window, and we're both right here. So nobody's in the wood chipper yet.
We cannot hear
but it's
them.
really loud.
I mean, we cannot hear them.
Okay, good.
Doug, what do you got to say about all this craziness?
I know, poor Doug hasn't gotten a word in edgewise with us.
No, it's all right. No, real quick recap. Great event. A lot of new people. A lot of interest for List Perfectly. I always enjoy the events. The presentations were great. Tech and sports was good. But obviously, Sammy Davis has the best presentation because she complimented me on my blazer and said that it fit me well.
Oh, well, I mean, clearly that means she was the best.
Clearly, Douglas.
Oh,
all you need to say is something nice to him, and then it's the best thing ever.
And then she's his new favorite person.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know. I think Susie Eats was the winner.
Susie was great. Trish was great.
I think everybody's presentation was great. And Sammy, I'm a fangirl of, you guys heard me introduce her, but, I've been teaching vintage for a very long time. And here's the thing. See, Trish, here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
I've learned the majority of what I know about vintage. I learned from Sammy before I even knew who she was. Before I knew that she was actually a real person, I learned everything from her online blogs for years and years and years. So I think I think she was fantastic. And Tech's presentation was also really good. If you know Tech, he's been talking about this for years. He calls it his Techonomics. To be quite honest with you, nobody invented the wheel. It's just a way for people to calculate how many items they need to list at their current sell-through rate to get to the number of listings, how many numbers they need to have listed to get to the amount of money they want to make. It's something that resellers have been talking about for a really long time, but I saw it in the chat, Consignment Chats has a calculator that does that as well. I think it's a great idea to figure out your numbers, and he just kind of broke it down in a way that not everybody thinks.
Well, and I also think a lot of us don't discuss numbers enough. We are not, numbered focused, even though some of us do say our numbers every week on YouTube, and some of us have numbers in our name. Most of us do not speak about numbers enough.
Well, and most sellers, not most sellers. There's a lot of people that numbers just freaking math freaks them out. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in that room, that was too much for them. But I had many conversations and kind of broke it down in a smaller, bite-sized thing. And they're like, oh, okay, I get that. I said, you may not know what your number is. This is how you get your number. Because he did. He went through it very quickly. And
he's a fast talker. He's a fast talker.
Yeah. And that was fine. He had his whiteboard and all that stuff worked out. So, it was great. It's exactly what he was coming to speak on. I talked to many, many people that were there that were grateful for that. And like you said, never thought about it. I just buy what I want, list what I want, sell what I do. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think like, oh, I want to make $100,000 a year. How do I get there based on what I'm already doing? Right. We joke about it all the time. Katie and I are not numbers people either. We're the exact opposite of Teresa. Teresa loves every number down to the minutia. And I'd rather stab myself with an ice pick through my ears. We take one weekend a year to do our taxes where we don't talk to anybody and get everything done in 8 hours a day, where a lot of people do weekly or monthly reconciliation. Now, to be fair, I know my numbers. I know overall where I'm going to be. If you don't know your numbers and you do what we do, don't do that. Don't do what we do. That's terrible advice to do it once a year. But I've been doing this so long that I already know my numbers and I have a realistic idea of where my profit is and all that kind of stuff. If you don't know that, you totally should be doing way better accounting.
Terrible advice.
Here's the thing, though.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Here's the thing. Like Tech's whole presentation thing, when you just think about it, it seems super simplified, and it's kind of almost like you go, well, duh. But the thing is, nobody's doing that for the most part. You'll hear resellers all the time. They're like, I've been selling for years, and I really wish I could get to 100,000 a year, but it's just not happening for me. I don't understand why. But if you break it down into a freaking mathematical equation where you say, okay, I have X number of listings, I make X amount of dollars now.
This is my average sale price.
Hold on, Vic. I want to get to this number of sales based on what I'm doing right now. All you have to do is some multiplication, everything, and you have a number. You have to do this much work every single day, blah, 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 until you get to this number, and you'll get there.
Right.
It's an equation. And then it's like, it's black and white. There's no nuance to it.
Right.
Yeah. Or it's like a spreadsheet. Exactly. I hate spreadsheets.
I'm just saying,
Let
like,
me just say this. When you don't you got to all know your numbers at some point. You've got to know your numbers.
Yep. 100%.
It's good advice. But sometimes we get bad advice. And the bad advice I heard at Boss, which I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but the bad advice that I heard at Boss, other than the things Doug was telling me to do on Fremont Street.
Was it me that I said you got to drink this?
Yeah, that was it. The bad advice was that your seller metrics don't matter.
Yeah. And I heard you say that yesterday in our meeting with eBay. I didn't hear that, but yeah, your seller metrics absolutely matter.
Account health, account health, account health. I will say this until I die. Those matter so much that anyone saying that to me, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. And please, there are a few things you've got to make sure, and you've got to make sure that your account health and your INAD situation at all times. You should always know where you stand, especially on eBay,
And if you're somebody that hates numbers like me, if you are new to this, or if you're not making the profit you want to make, you absolutely need to get with an accounting, whether it's My Reseller Genie, or you're using Mark II or you're using Everleslie or Seller Life, anything like that. Finding some type of accounting system that works for you, a QuickBooks, I don't care. Whatever your accounting system is that works for you, you need to pay attention to it and reconcile at least monthly. If you're terrible, like Katie and I always say, like, do as I say, not as I do, because I don't do that. But I do know where my business is. I know where my numbers are. I know when I'm not doing well. I know how to fix it. I don't always take my own advice, but I at least understand how things work.
We usually know why it's not going the way we want it to go.
Right. Well, thanks, guys. It was great. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I'm going to go drink margaritas.
Oh,
us too.
It's only 12:20. We're gonna go drink margaritas.
Yeah, well, 3:20 where I am. I'm gonna wait an hour and then leave.
My baby is asleep. This little baby is, well, now she's not.
No, now she's awake. She is a cutie.
She is a cutie.
Gizmo's adorable and the sweetest girl ever. Really is.
Thanks, friends. Thanks for having us talk about our event.
It went good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, Dougie. Nice shirt, as Teresa pointed out earlier.
Well, Teresa gave it to me, sent it to me.
Oh, I did not know that part of the story.
So I wouldn't forget.
Long time ago.
Who I am.
True Crime is at 4 p.m. today. Anybody who's on listing party. And
or 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. But Teresa, I want you to tell everybody what's going to happen next week with Susie Eads.
Susie Eads is going to do a listing party Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on the presentation that she did at Boss. So what is it? You put me on the spot. I don't remember the title.
I'm sorry. It's about having things made overseas.
Private label creation.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot the name of it.
I was trying to use the right terminology.
Private label from start to finish.
Tommy, I completely forgot about it. We'll go over. Yes, we're going to go over to the after party. Anybody want to show up? Come and talk to us. Doug and I will be there. I don't know if anyone else will.
All right.
We could drink some more.
Susie just called us you people. What's that supposed to mean?
You people are the best.
She says that a lot. You people.
You people. Everybody have a great weekend. See anybody who belongs to LP, come over to listing party. We'll be in the channel.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you again sometime.
Why are you growling?
She growled?
I think she could see something out the window.
That was me.